Hey, what's up, you all? Thank you for tuning in to another episode, another installment of the Larger Than Logic podcast. I'm excited to spend some time with y'all today. Hey, look, man, I've been doing some things differently. As you can see, it's kind of crazy how with really good camera quality, you can see literally everything. You can see the pores on my face, you can see the lint on my shirt, but we rocking with it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Man, today I wanted to engage you all with something I think is going to be very helpful. My question to you is, do you ever attempt to work inside your gift and do the things that you're good at in advance, but it seems like for some reason you can't seem to get past the planning phase? Like every time you get ready to get started, you just focus on this thing or that thing or this thing or that thing, and next thing you know, you haven't even done the thing that you set out to do. This is something that I've dealt with. This is something that I even still deal with sometimes, but I've been overcoming it actively. I've been progressing in a real way, and I'd like to tell you how, in hopes that it helps you to do the same thing. I guess where I would start is with the other night, right? So, as you know, I'm a podcaster, among other things, but this is my podcast, and I usually record these either on a Wednesday night after Bible class, or on a Thursday night, or a Friday night. For whatever reason, I think this was about 2 Thursdays ago, I went to go record, right? And initially when I started my podcast, I'm like, yo, I want my podcast to look like the big name podcasters. I want my podcast to look like Joe Rogan. I want my podcast to look like Mel Robbins' podcast. I want my podcast to look like David Shan's podcast. And when you look at all of these different podcasters, you see that they have not only the microphones and everything sounding good, but they have all the multiple camera angles and cut to this person and cut to that person and cut to this scene. And I said, hey, I want my podcast to look like that. So when I first started, I got my Canon M50 out, as I've talked about in other episodes. I'm using my iPhone's continuity camera right now, and I've used that in other episodes also. And I was like, okay, yeah, we're going to get jiggy. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put together my podcast this way for the YouTube form. And this is what I kind of began to do. And it didn't just happen the other week. It happened continuously and consistently. I found myself when I would get ready to record, I would begin to hyper focus on things that did not really matter. I'd say, okay, let me go ahead and sit the camera this way and then put my light this way. And then next thing I know, I've moved the camera about 10 times. I've moved the light about 10 million times. And I've yet to record. And I say, okay, this is a good angle, but now I need to clean up. I have this in the back or that in the back. And then I'm saying, okay, I don't really like this angle anymore. Okay, let me put the microphone this way. No, let me put it this way. Let me set it this way. Let me balance it this way. And then I've sat and rearranged that. And I'm like, well, maybe I don't even like this area. Let me switch to a different area. And so I get focusing on the area. And then after that, I have my whole area set up. And then I'm like, okay, let me make sure that my topic and everything is put together correctly. So I start going back over what I'm attempting to podcast about, the subject matter, the order of the episode. I go through all of these things. I start at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. Next thing I know, it's like midnight, 12:30. I'm sitting here trying to record, and I have not recorded anything. I've touched everything a million times. I've tried to make everything perfect 10,000 times, and I have yet to do any recording. And it's not until the other night where I realized the biggest flaw that I was making, or one of the biggest flaws, or errors that I was making, rather. And it is this. I failed to realize that when it comes to doing anything in life, when it comes to attempting to achieve goals, pursue goals, accomplish tasks, you should approach it with, or rather, I should be approaching these things with a mindset of I can't say it. I need to be approaching these things with a mindset of simplicity without sacrificing quality. The way I wrote this down to give it to you is to simplify your system. You get what I'm saying? You need to focus on the necessities to get from point A to point Z with what you're trying to do. And of course, the goal is not to sacrifice quality or effectiveness, but to increase production. And what I said. So in my context, this means using one camera, one microphone, one angle, God bless me. And it means doing these things in a very streamlined way, not trying to overcomplicate it. 3 camera angles, a camera, what's it called? A video mixer to be able to mix multiple angles, having to do a whole bunch in post production. Look, I'm just one person. I'm the producer, I'm the writer, I'm the editor, I'm the uploader. I do it all. And so, me trying to do 10 million things and make this dumb complex for no reason, when all I'm really trying to do is deliver you all value, it would not make much sense. And all I'm doing is slowing down my production. I am making it a lot harder for you all to access the thing I'm trying to allow you to be able to access. And at the end of the day, I'm making things way harder than they have to be, which of course is hurting my effectiveness. And for you, this might look a little bit different. Say your goal is that you wanted to lose 20 pounds this year, but you always make your outfit an excuse for why you can't just go to the gym and work out. You make your social media or your job an excuse for why you can't go and exercise right when you get off of work. I don't know what your thing is. You might be a person that wants to start speaking better, but you use your image or your pride or your friends or certain circles and how people might look at you as an excuse for why you can't start right now today doing the thing that you need to do or that you said you was going to do. I don't know what your excuse is. I don't know what's standing in your way. I don't know what you're preoccupied with. But what I'm trying to let you know is that in order to get from point A to point Z in anything, in order to become a doer more so than just a thinker, it requires us to simplify how we go about the things that we do. And a lot of times, if you look at the bare bone necessities of what you need to actually do something, it's a lot of times a lot less than all the things we think it entails. This doesn't mean that as you get down the road and as you actually are walking in these things and doing them, that you won't find more effective ways to do things. You might not find things that you should add that can beef up the quality, make it a little bit more special. In my context, once I get down the line a little bit further, I might want to hire somebody to help me produce. I might want to hire somebody to help me edit, but when we're at the ground level of things, or even not even just at the ground level, when we're trying to maximize our effectiveness, adding things that don't necessarily need to be there a lot of times can be more of a weight than a benefit or a help. And so what I need you to do is, when you're trying to do things, say to yourself, let me simplify, let me simplify, let me simplify. And so with this being said, what I want you to do right now is I want you to think to yourself, what's one goal you have right now? What's one ambition you have right now that you're pursuing that could benefit from you being more simple about it, or from that thing being simplified? What is one thing that you are trying to do right now, that you've been trying to do in your life, that would benefit from you simplifying it in a large, grandiose way? I want you to think about that thing. And the next time you try it, I want you to say to yourself, simplify this, simplify this, simplify this, and get it done. Now, once again, as y'all know, my name is Avery. You're listening to the Larger Than Logic podcast. You're tuned into the Larger Than Logic podcast. And I'm so glad that you've allowed me to be a part of your journey. What I'd like you to do is to share this with a friend who is struggling to get started or be consistent, and let them know they just need to simplify things. Go about it a little bit more simple. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'd appreciate if you like the video. If you like the video, I'd appreciate if you subscribe to this podcast channel so you don't miss any of the fire that we have coming your way. And also, if you'd like to connect with me, you can put that down in the comments below, or you can you can DM me on Instagram. That's the best way if you want to reach out and connect. But until the next time, thank you for letting me be part of your journey. Hang tight and be blessed.